Welcome everyone to another episode of the Content Room. Today we have a very special guest. Of course, when I say a special guest, a client of mine who has accepted the invitation to come onto the podcast and talk about her journey and her takes on what content is, what marketing is, what branding is to her. So without taking much time, we have Yasaska Gamage.
Hi.
Yasaska, thank you for coming. Let me take you back a little bit. Where did your interest spark about marketing, branding before we get into content? Where did it spark?
I think it all began with the love I had for advertisements. I'm not talking about advertising, I'm talking about advertisements. Rukshan, I'm coming from this era where we intentionally watch advertisements.
Yes.
Back then when we were watching Dudaro, Nada, you name it. So we didn't switch the channel during
Pre-social media era.
Exactly. We didn't switch the channel in between the commercial break.
Yeah.
We just watched it because we thought, okay, it's a part of the package. We just watched it and actually we fell in love with the advertisements,
Yeah.
right? Mihiri mata kahada
my
band.
God. Yes.
Yes. So then, okay, that's where it all began. And then later on, I realized, okay, advertising is a thing. And then growing up, I realized, okay, advertising is a part of marketing, which is a profession. So I think that's how it all began.
So, I mean, you come from out of Colombo, go down south. You came to Colombo and you have made a name for yourself. Let's agree to that, right?
Okay.
So, before all this started, when you were schooling, maybe just out of school, did you ever thought that marketing was something that you need to pursue as a career?
Okay, it was never a plan, Rukshan, but I would say it was a decision. When I was doing my higher studies, there came a point I had to make a choice between finance, accounting, marketing, HR, and whatever the other managerial aspects. So, something felt right about marketing. So I made that decision. But after that, from that point onwards, whatever I did, even now what I'm doing, is to ensure that my decision was not wrong.
Okay.
From the people that I was associating with, to the jobs that I picked up earlier in my career, to the research that I made, to everything I do to make sure that my decision is not wrong.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your early career. Did that help you? Did you start in marketing first of all? For me, I started completely in a different industry. Like I was a banker, and then shifted into advertising and marketing and all of that. So,
So you were a desperate marketer and then a desperate banker, so then came into marketing.
I would say I was a banker by mistake and marketer by choice and passion, right?
True.
So in your early career, how did it start and what shaped you? How did it help you to shape yourself into the marketer you are today?
I think I was fortunate to work in a diverse range of companies earlier in my career, from media to FMCG to retail to telco to construction, and those
That's a
were,
lot.
yes,
That's a lot.
that's a lot. And those were the number one conglomerate in that very industry.
Okay.
So that shaped me to be the challenging person that I am today.
Were you in marketing in these
I was
companies?
100% marketing.
You were 100% in
100%
marketing.
marketing. So that actually, it cut out the version of me that I can't afford to be behind. I can't afford to be slow unless slowing down is the strategy. And I can't afford to be not hardworking. So, and of course, at this, not many can say this, but, I have always been blessed with the best bosses.
Okay.
And I have shamelessly picked up the characteristics of them and still applying, and it has worked.
I understand that and because I've also heard that comment from few people that you look like you're imitating your boss, the way you
Exactly.
talk and the way you dress and
Yeah.
all that, but what's wrong in that,
Yeah,
right?
it's not a blame.
You're looking up to a person that you
Exactly,
think that
yeah.
can influence you in a positive way. So any lessons in your early career that that still influence you up to date?
Yeah, one of the best lessons I have learned early on is that you should never forget the basics, right? So, marketing can be really, you can get carried away with the tools, new platforms, new technologies, and whatnot. But the basics, the core will remain the same, right? You have to understand your customer, you have to figure out what your proposition is, and you have to clearly communicate that. That will never change.
Yeah.
So, that is this one thing I want to tell everyone, that you should never forget your basics.
Okay. Um, so, like some people mid of their career decides, look, like for me, for example, that this is not what I want to do. I'm good at something else. But you have realized that marketing is advertising is something that I want to be in. Was there a campaign that you did where in before you came to where you are right now that firmly established that okay, this feels right,
This is what I want,
this
kind
is what I want
of.
to be?
uh, yeah, I would rather put it this way, Rukshan. This is what I want is like my day end reconciliation phrase. Like
Okay.
I ask that myself over and over, almost every day, because I take my work very serious and I work really hard. So I frequently ask, am I really making an impact? Am I happy doing what I do? Does that make me happy? And if the answer is more towards negative very frequently, then that's when I make a move. Because I don't like to entertain negative situations. So I don't want to be like, okay, this is how it is. Let me just go with the flow. I'm not someone like that. So I just make a move. So I ask that frequently just to validate what I do.
Okay. So let's get into your current job role because I think being in the industry, financial industry where you are right now, it's very competitive, ultra competitive, I would say,
Yeah.
especially these days, right? With this situation, do you see that? Do you believe that marketing in financial institutions can be challenging compared to other industries?
Compared to other industries, it's actually, I'm pretty sure there are industries like that where there are a lot of competitors who are offering identical products, identical services. So the only way to tackle that is to identify what is there that stands you out, and then really ride on it. I think that's the way. That's what we also have done. So you need to understand what makes you stand out, and you have to really ride on it.
That's a very diplomatic answer.
Yeah, and you have to be consistent
Yeah.
also, because somewhere down the line, without you even know, someone else will come and say, "Hey, I have that too, and I do it better."
Okay.
So you have to make sure that it's consistent.
So yes or no?
Yeah.
Is it challenging than other industries? Not challenging.
Um.
How would you say? Or you'll say maybe.
No, it is like marketing everywhere is challenging.
Okay. All right. So being in a financial institution, let's come to content. But before that, just to understand the fundamentals. Uh, I know coming from a financial background, people invest or people come and make your deposits or borrow money from a person. Like back in the day, it was a thing to go and meet the bank manager, because updating that passbook was the only way that
Yes,
you know
yes,
how
yes. Yeah.
work. So now with digital and all of that, we are telling consumers do your transactions online. You don't have to stay in the queue and all of those things. So in this type of a world, do you believe or do you think brands should be more human, feel more human? Like people don't like to chat with chatbots, right?
Yeah.
So like that, do you believe that, especially your organization, how do you tackle that?
I'll answer to that using Singer Finance, since that's the brand
Yeah.
I'm working for. So, Singer Finance was not in the limelight in terms of, as a brand, in terms of visibility, it was not in the limelight for the longest time. But when we finally did it about 2 years ago, that's when we had realized that, okay, we really have something that distinguishes us from the rest, right? And that was the people centric. That was us being empathetic. That was us being, really caring for others. So when we were confident that we have that, and that could take us to a place where it distinguishes us from the rest, that's when we started actually talking about it, and it worked. So how it worked for us was that we didn't want to go public about it. First, what we did was we did multiple internal initiatives to make sure that everyone buys it, everyone internally buys it, right? So we did a lot of internal campaigns just to make sure. And the interesting thing is, it was not entirely gimmicky also, because that service aspect was inherently there in the culture. So it was just a matter of putting a little extra effort to tell them this is the core of Singer Finance. So we did multiple initiatives, and finally when we were confident that everyone has accepted it, that's when we realized, okay, now it's time we go out and we tell the public we are the best when it comes to customer service. And it really worked, because it's not like we say something and we can't claim it, kind of. So it's something that we can say because we have tried it, because it's there with us. So that really worked for Singer Finance.
Right. So marketing, and then let's come into, I mean, to do marketing, you need content. That's the whole
Exactly.
idea of this podcast. It's the content room, right? So, how do you think that digital content specifically changed the financial sector, and how it markets, how it brands its products and services, and so on?
Yeah, so Rukshan, let's forget the platform, whether it's digital, whatever, and let's also forget what the industry is. If you look at content, I'm actually a content person. I'm
I
100%
know.
content person.
I know.
Yeah, because there are different marketers also. No?
Yeah.
So some are into performance, some are into sales, some are into digital stuff, and I'm 100% a content person.
Yeah.
And my wave about content is, content should always start with a business problem, and it has to then be constructed with the insights that you gather, maybe from the field, from the people who work on the ground, from experts. So it's like, you're making a nice dish, right? You start off with a problem and you construct with other insights, and then at some point you have to eliminate what's not real, so it's authentic. And then add a little bit of life into that. That's where your creativity plays. So tada, you have your dish, and you can just give it at rate and people will actually embrace it. That's how it works.
So, finance brands, do you believe they have to be more bold and creative when it comes to content?
Bold, creative, all that should be there. But the most important thing is you have to be relevant. Relevance comes first. So you be relevant, and then you decide whether to be bold or not, or to be creative. That is where I stand, actually.
Now, I know from experience, because we are your client. I mean, you're our client as Hype Media. You're our client, and you give
I actually
us.
don't believe in the client agency, which I think I can explain later. But yeah, go on.
So I think been working with you for the last, I mean, few months that we have started our partnership. I've realized that you are someone who gives a lot of freedom to the creative agencies, and I get that feedback from your staff members as well. So tell me, why is it important for you to give this high freedom to your agencies
Okay.
that comes up with the content? What's the
Okay,
story?
first of all, did you actually mean it when you said it? Because I thought I was horrible.
No, I actually meant it. I mean,
Okay,
you see the
okay.
content that we are doing for you.
Yeah.
So all that we wouldn't have been doing unless we had that freedom. So
Yeah. Yeah, so let me tell you this now. Us being the brand custodians, it is very natural that we want to handhold,
Yeah.
right? Because we believe, okay, we know our brand better than anyone else. So in a situation like that, we don't want to, directly believe something that is said to us, that is presented to us by someone completely different, because we think, okay, we are the brand custodian, we know better. So for a brand custodian to give that 100% flexibility to a creative team, it takes a lot. What does it take? Some serious level of convincing about that, okay, we are here to make your brand shine, not you shine.
Yeah.
right? We are here to help your brand, as in the brand of the corporate, the company's brand, not your personal brand. So if that's the kind of language you speak, then I think I'm of course okay to give that 100% flexibility. Okay, do your homework, do your research, and get me something exciting.
Okay. So, fun question. Have you ever approved an idea when you saw the agency presentation? It felt this might be a little risky, but you approved it anyway, and it ended up working well.
Okay. The kind of risk that I have taken is not with me accepting the concept, right? The kind of risk I have taken is okay, I know this is a great idea, but I'm not too sure whether my higher authorities will approve this or not. When that's the situation, and even then, if I'm 100% sure about the concept, I will stand by the team and I will do the pitching on behalf of them. I will make that bridge and I will go to them because I know where they're coming from. I
Yeah.
know their context. So I will talk to them in a manner that they understand. I somehow get that approved. That risk I have taken and it has really worked.
It has really worked.
Yeah.
So, you work with a very young team, very young team.
You know better than
I
me.
know, and something I've realized when I'm working with them also is they have matured in what they're doing. Even though you're young in
Yeah.
age, they have matured. They know what they're doing,
Yes.
and they're willing to take some instant decisions. Let's do this. I know Yasaska will approve this. So that's very helpful for us, especially when we are producing content. Sometimes we get stuck because we don't know if the client will be okay, and we are working with a junior person. He doesn't know if he or she doesn't know if their boss will be okay. So they are not able to give an answer on the spot. But as when we are filming something, we need an answer then and there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but your team has that capacity. Don't worry, do it. Uh, I'll manage Yaska. I know she will approve this. So that means that you have given them authority, you have guided them, you have built them to a certain uh, stage in their career. Uh, why is that? Why is that important?
So number one, if I'm not letting them do something on their own, then they will never learn. That's number one. And then again, me as a leader, I want them to improve themselves. I want them to go explore new things. All that will not happen if that freedom is not there. That's number one. And number two, this I have been very open about with the team also, that from delegation point of view also, it makes your life, it makes my life easy. If I can delegate all the work, and then I can really focus on the core activities like strategy, planning, and all of that while the work is being happen. I mean, it's sorted, right? I'm sorted.
Yeah.
So that is also there actually. So as long as you have the follow up, the proper thorough follow up mechanisms, and empowering culture and all of that, it's pretty much okay to delegate and then really look into your work.
So when you're building this team that you need to run not just digital, you have to run traditional media as well. What sort of qualities do you look for in your team members?
Um, so, okay, my leadership is such that I put a lot of controls, right? And when you put a lot of controls in place, anyway, the work will happen. You can make sure that the work will happen. But apart from those controls, now we are talking about a marketing team, right? So, a marketing team should have the hunger. So they have to be energetic. So for them to be energetic, they have to have the hunger to do something more, to go that extra mile, to learn something more. So that hunger is needed. So when all that is put together, only you will see like a really comprehensive marketing team.
Okay. Uh, so Yasaska, I wanted to ask you a question when we were talking about agencies and clients. I kind of missed that one, so I'm coming back to that. Um, Sometimes us agencies uh, misunderstand clients' expectations, and then we put all our effort to come up with the strategy, creative, everything, and we come and present it to you. First two slides, the client says, "This is not what I briefed you," and then we feel let down. you feel let down. Why does this happen?
Um, so it's actually an interesting question. So I think this is basically because they think every concept that they come and present, every idea that they come and present has to be like, so big, so drastic, so award winning type of. Actually, no. Sometimes a simple concept, a simple idea, which is relevant, which is consistent, can actually give you a better impact. And that could be the impact that your brand is also looking into. So, just, calm down.
Calm down, yeah.
Hashtag calm
Hashtag
down.
calm down. That's a good one. Yeah. So yeah, Saska, this is a content-driven world.
Hmm.
That's what I believe right now, and that's one reason why hype media was born, because we are born out of content, and that's our core functionality as a content company. Now, with content, marketing has been seriously changing, adapting. AI is there. New content creators are coming out. Influencer marketing is becoming a thing. Out of all of these changes that are happening in the marketing and the content sphere, what excites you the most?
What excites me the most is the fact that there's AI, new platforms, tools, influencers, all that's there, all that's fun. You can learn, you can test, and you can adopt. But what excites me is the core remains the same. The basics will always remain the same. You have to understand your customer, you have to know what your proposition is, you have to be relevant and consistent. So that remains the same. How difficult is that?
Okay. So, how do you think marketing and content would change within the next 5 years or so?
Okay, 5 years is a long time to predict, especially something as fast moving as marketing.
Marketing.
But I would say something that could possibly change in near future. People will demand reality back again. So they'll be tired of seeing these AI generated faces, AI generated voice, opinions and conversations coming out of nowhere. So they'll be tired of that. So they look for, real voice, real faces, real conversations. So for a brand to thrive, they'll have to also look into new technology. They have to adopt, but at the same time, they'll have to be as human as possible.
All right. So we are coming to the end of the session. As the AGM of Singer Finance, as a marketer who has been in this industry for a long time, who has climbed the ladder, who has seen things, who have seen things evolved. Um, is there something that you want to say to the future leaders of the industry? If there's one thing, one answer, one quick, it can be one word. What is that thing?
Marketing is an investment.
Marketing is an investment. All right. Thank you very much, Yasaska, for joining. Thank you, everyone. If you're still watching this episode, that means you're in love with content. So thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, if you have any recommendations as to who we need to invite to the content room in our future episodes, please put a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you again with another episode. Adios.